My mic is muted.
I just want to say it's just the new generation, the 25 and under. They're fucked up in the head because of what they saw growing up with the iPhone in their hand.
Oh yeah,
they're not. They're different breed, and because of that, I don't think it works with them. It's just different. But that's the only reason why I think it's an age difference.
You know what I'll say too. Everything with the new generation, because you're right, that is 100% correct. With them, everything is upside down. So that I've noticed myself. But with them, everything they think now, they believe to be true, delay. It's like a fuse that doesn't go off until like a 10-year delay. Because right now, I'm 36 years old. Every woman that was saying all of this at 26 is now singing a different tune. They hate my page, by the way. They hated it a few years ago. Now they're asking me for advice and just commenting slick thing. Look, the funny thing, I said on one girl's post just yesterday, maybe 10, 12 years ago, I said she's going to need to cook for her husband one day. And we went on like a 3-day curse out battle. Yesterday, she was like cooking something because she's on vacation, saying this will be me and my kid in a few years. I was like, oh, well, look at that. I was right the whole time. So everything that they're saying, they just don't realize how delusional they are, and they'll come around in a few years. But unfortunately, it might be too late. That's the bad part. I think we hit the womp womp. Hit the womp womp. Yeah, womp womp womp. But
can I ask something real quick too?
Go ahead. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask something before we got too off of it, because I forgot my version to the women that want to build. It's simple. A woman needs to balance her ego to figure out what she want and what she need, and then when she need it, because that's what women will go with what they need, what they want, miss what they need, then what they need later on. So they got to balance that ego to know, okay, this is an opportunity. This is, this isn't going to come around often. So, some people had that discernment because they know what they want early, whether it was how they was raised or just how they feel. Some don't, but if women can just kind of go off of, balance what they want and need at the right time, then they'd be all right. So that was just my take on that.
I'll say this to that point though. It's up to us men to stop giving these women too much too soon. Like a lot of us, we give women way too much of our money, our time, our attention, our protection. They don't deserve it. And a girl gets that enough, and that becomes her template. She thinks she deserves that. So women do have to do that. They have to figure out what they want and need. But us brothers, we got to stop elevating women too soon before they put the work in to prove that they deserve what we have to offer.
I completely agree. I'm telling you, man, and Purple Pill, no, I don't know everybody else, but when you coach, it opens your mind to a whole different, you know what I'm saying? Because when I started YouTube, I thought I knew. I started YouTube 5 years ago, and just that 5 short is a whole nother thing that I wouldn't even, just hearing everybody's stories and coming from different backgrounds, but yet they all going through the same shit. So it's kind of cool, you know what I mean? Seeing people outside the circle and connecting the dots and everything.
But I also think that that's part of, understanding, knowing yourself, having that level of discernment, and knowing exactly who you are, where you come from, and where the hell you're going. You can't have a plan if you don't have any direction. So if you have your stuff together and you know where you want to go, it makes it a lot easier because you've kind of painted that roadmap for your partner and for the woman that you want to spend that time with and want to build with. Because once you have a story behind it, once you have a blueprint behind it, it doesn't take as much for a woman to get behind it if you're with the right one.
All right, let me get Hank up in there. Hank, what are your thoughts about it, sir? I'm trying to build with you.
Shit. Fellas, man, find you a woman who's going to be a part of your dreams instead of that woman that's going to cause you nightmares. That's the first thing I'm going to tell a man. Because it's a lot of goddamn Freddy Cougars out there, and they roaming down Elm Street. Leave them heifers alone. So if she's not trying to build with you, man, leave at the restaurant. like Sir Hell, she don't deserve your time and energy, what you bring. But you got to find that right lady, man, and find that one who has morals and shows she could be responsible and trustworthy. And you might have to cipher through a lot of heifers, a lot of chicks, a lot of tackheads. You may have to. But if that's gonna be that right woman for you, gonna help you, like you said, help you build and whatever it is you're trying to build, whether it's your financial wealth, whether it's your emotional or your mental, whatever you're trying to build, do it. Whether it's a business, allow her to be a part of that business and give her an assignment, no matter how small or big it is, and then sit back and watch and see if she's able to live up to the plan. Now, if she is, hey, she's got a chance. Put her on your team. Matter of fact, even do one even better. Make her your wife if you're not married.
All right, let me go to Shan. What are your thoughts about him trying to build with you? You may see the video, Shan. I'll run it back real quick.
If I come to you with an idea, I'm trying to build with you. If you got questions, I'll answer them. But if everything you say towards the idea is negative, you gotta know I'm not dealing with you after that. Your negativity is only ricocheting back your way because the idea is still gonna get accomplished. Sad part is, most of the time you get the negativity from the ones closest to you that you're trying to build with.
That's I don't know. You know, wordplay matters to me, and so that whole build with, I think, is bullshit to begin with in and of itself, because a lot of people try to use that as partnership, and they'll if you start going out there talking about build, you know, if you got an idea and you go to your woman and she's negative, you know, I want you to build with me. No, I don't necessarily want you to build with me. I'm a build, and I need something that you need to do. I got something that, like, I think brother just mentioned, give her a task. And I think it was Trigger Mike that said last week, you got to be careful with the words that you use today with some women, because they take it out of context, or they use it wrong, or they misunderstand. And build with you, or I'm trying to build with you, will be looked at as equality. And you are trying to do what I'm doing, and I'm trying to do what you're doing, and we're trying to do it together. And that way, when we get to the finish line, we both are victors. And that could be really problematic later on, especially how women like take things. So just to be honest with you, and just to keep it short and quick on this one, I don't even like the term build with you to begin with. I wish men would stop using that. I wish people would just remove that from the, and that's another, and I was having a conversation, I think it was in Lapeef Facebook today. It was either Lapeef Facebook or another Facebook group. And somebody was talking about, they were talking about the disparity between ages, you know, older men and young women getting together and building with each other. And the brother was saying something about, I don't want my daughter to date an older guy because I want her to build with her man. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, you setting yourself up for failure, because that whole build with you thing is what we've been trying to do since the Cosby days. And that just really don't work. So I don't like build with you to begin with. I'm trying to build with you. I need you to, I got some tasks that I need you to do, because I'm trying to build something and I need some things done. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
All right.
OG, triple OG. See you, Shan.
Anybody else want to add on to it? Luis, like you trying to come off the mic.
And let me do a quick disclaimer. This is my diplomatic advice. My personal shit is different. I'm not trying. I don't need to put people with my narrative, but this
it's hard for me. It's hard for me to disagree with Shan when he used a quote from me in the damn. I was like, damn.
that did it, right?
Brought out the receipts and everything.
So you do have to be careful. You absolutely have to be careful how you phrase things, because even like at the beginning, I was like, no, Shan, no. But then you use my own words against me. So build with you has absolutely been taken out of context by women. And I think one of the things is that, you know what's funny is that we always take women at their word today, which we should not do. every time they complain about something, they're actually saying something else. They're actually saying something else. One of the biggest, most blaring, when I decipher what women are saying, they're really upset that they don't have someone they can follow. That's really it. They don't want to lead anything. They don't want to take the blame for anything. They are upset that they don't trust enough, or it might not even be a man's fault. It may be their fault alone, but they've ruined their outlook on men and their vision of anything to the point where they can't trust any man because they've been messing with the wrong ones for so long. So we got to understand what they're really saying. So when you say build with you, she likely is going to take that as some kind of equality statement. I've noticed that women are looking for a man to be under. They're not really trying to be beside. They're looking for a man to be under. Right? And it's funny because once I really came into my own as a grown man, and all of the pushback that I was getting in my 20s, it was that announcement that I was about to get married, which made every girl from the past say, well, I'm ready. Made every girl from the past want to fall at my feet. Ow. You see what I'm saying? So they're all looking for a man to be under. We just need to decipher what they're saying. So I can't even push back on Shan.
Trig, I got some pushback for you. Come on, fellas, let's just be real. Most women ain't helping nobody until she gets overweight, until she has to do something to keep a man. Most women ain't looking to help nobody. If you think about it, if women were so helpful, then how come they demand so much from men initially? If women are inherently helpful, the reality is women love to come off with, I was helping the wrong man. No, you was sleeping with the wrong man. You didn't help him build anything. And then as soon as you get upset with him and he had your kid, you put him on child support. You didn't help that dude. You helped yourself to some penis, some protection, and to some provision. You do know what I do, right? You help men once you start to recognize that your options run out, that they're not as cute as you used to be, and now you got to do some work because you done found Jesus, you done found the Lord, and now you got to do something right to keep a man. Let's keep it real. Most women are not helpful until they absolutely have to be.
Absolutely.
How can you say that though when you've seen at my studio my own girl do the contracts for me and all types of help at my studio for me?
Do we want to go into this?
Not.
I'm just saying she's young.
Yeah,
like
muted,
she's only 23.
Well, I don't think Sir Hill is wrong at all. I just think it doesn't apply to all women because you basically you kind of alluded to my first point where I said the women that did it the right way the first time, they're ultimately the ones that reap the benefits. Every other woman is just capping. She knew exactly what she was doing when she didn't settle down in her 20s and she didn't help the right man. And now she's trying to make up for it. But you're right with that fake help statement. I'm ready to be a what? You're right. They don't really help anybody. They really just help themselves. You're right.
Man, Trick, I'll be asking these. And sort of to your point, you got a young one who's caring, who's malleable, who really loves you. Right, that's what you have, and it's a beautiful thing. A whole lot of guys don't find somebody who's helpful, who's a woman who's willing to do that. That's just most of them. The second thing is a lot of these women be talking about, I want a leader. He got to be strong. And I'll ask them the simple question: what was the last leader you've been with, and why aren't you two together anymore? Most of them can never give me a reason. They can never tell me their last leader is because women say they want something that they really don't want. Most women are not ready to submit until they have to, unless they listen to the Trigger Mike show each morning and they learn how to submit from an early age, right? But for the most part, women aren't. Submission for most women has to be forced, especially if it's not taught early. So they're not conditioned to be helpful until they see a clear benefit to them doing so. That's the world we live in.
Yeah, but also one thing too to note is that even the cycle of just dating and meeting men, right? It's all wrong. Like the whole culture and because you meet someone, you talk to them for 6 months, you break up, you rinse, wash, repeat, and then you're on this perpetual roller coaster, back and forth, right? That can never, ever transition into marriage because once you get into a marriage, you're going to treat it just like all your previous relationships because you don't know what it takes to be in something long term, right? It's this constant on and off, on and off, on and off. It's like it's like the rides at Disneyland. You're trying them all up to a point where you realize that this is the last stop. And when you get on it, you're treating it like your previous rides. It's short, right? So I just don't see how the current culture of today, right now, could ever promote anything long term when everything is always short term. Everything is short term.
Luis, I think a lot of that is from people that are sitting there like in the roller coaster, they're a passenger instead of the one that's actually the driver, you know, of the ride, the person that's at the front, the person that actually has control of the wheel themselves. You can't be passive in this life, especially if you're going to be a man that's supposed to have a plan, that's supposed to be building with this woman or what have you. When you're out here dating, you know, you have to have an end goal in mind, whether that's to get the draws today, whether that's to date this woman for, you know, whatever reason you have, or for marriage. You know, you have to know what that end goal is going to be. Some are for right now, some are for a little bit, and some are for long term. But you have to have a level of, like I said earlier, discernment. You know, and I think a lot of that comes with experience. You knowing who you are and you knowing what you need. And you got to find somebody that complements you and your needs at the end of the day. You know, when you're talking about partnering with somebody or building with somebody or having somebody do tasks for you within your business, you got to know the things that you don't have time to do. And you have to build that around her skill set, her strengths, to have her do those tasks. And if she's not willing to do those tasks, she's not ready to be your woman, period. So
yeah, you know, it's funny. It's funny, B-Man, you mentioned the person in the passenger seat. You know, there's a lot of co-pilots out there that once the plane is landed, they act like they built the plane. They act like they worked on the engine. They act like they navigated half the trip. And one of the issues that a lot of guys do is that they give the credit what credit's not due. They give a lot of credit, all because of they want to have some sort of harmonious, you know, peace at home, or they want to make it seem like the woman was always there for me. You see it every time a brother gives an award or receives an award and he goes up, I want to thank my wife who's there with me. You know, no, she wasn't there. She just cooked, really, and then and gave you some head and answered all your questions. But you did all the work. And so, you know, you got there's so many co-pilots. Yeah, they're not in the gym shooting. They're not at practice. They sleep while you in the gym shooting. And so think about it. Think about a lot of the entrepreneurial endeavors, kings that's watching the show tonight. All the kings that's watching the show. Think about a lot of the small or large entrepreneurial endeavors that you've taken. And you got your girl involved. Maybe you pitched her an idea, or maybe something happened. Oftentimes, you got to think about who's the innovator when it comes to this particular business, whether it's fashion, or whether you guys are creating a Shopify site, or whether you guys are doing some real estate, or whether you want to start a Turo rental business, or whatever it is. Who's the innovator? Oftentimes, it's you. All the new ideas come from you. All the execution on everything that needs to happen comes from you. All the creativity comes from you. And you really just have an unfireable employee. You have somebody that's with you that you just can't let go. So you got to find a place for where she can get in and fit in. But they at the end, and nobody sees the behind the scenes stuff. The family, all they see is that y'all working together. But really, you're the one up late at night. You're the one watching the YouTube videos, learning how to do something. You're the one that's reading all the articles and reading the owner's manuals and learning how to code and learning how to do all the hard shit. And she's just waiting for a task to be done, to be given. I'm simply saying, forget the build with you talk. Get rid of that. Take ownership of all the work you're doing, all the hard work that you've invested in a particular thing, and say, this is what I built and you helped. That's what I want the young kings to start doing nowadays, because the whole it's us and we worked on this together and we was in there. They start to get this grandiose idea that they did more than they actually did. And it's all because you planted that seed in her head. Stop doing that.
So
You
Shan,
gotta give co-pilots and passengers more credit than they're due.